I've been having so much fun using tape lately. It's not only very nostalgic and reminds me of when I used to record videos with my friends back when I was a kid, but it's just been a really interesting. It's had a really interesting shift on how I look at cinema now, or how I look at the way movies and TV shows are shot. I look at that film versus digital contrast completely differently now. I watched a whole video on YouTube actually a little while back about how 28 Days Later was shot on a digital camera that they had at the time, and how it gives it a really interesting look because of that, and that completely just inspired a lot of this. So I just wanted to talk about kind of what my recent experiences have been switching to this. Actually, a lot of the videos on this channel especially are shot with my 4K camera right here actually, and I think I'm just gonna make a switch to this right now. I might shoot stuff in 4K here and there still, but I just really love how different this feels. Now I'm actually capturing this with an Elgato capture card. That's how I've been. That's how I uploaded a lot of older footage for those other videos, and so I'm not actually using tape right now. But regardless, the look of the camera and the graininess of it, I really love it. I think it looks so cool. What I have learned using tape, though, because I do have a separate camera than the one I'm recording this on, a separate mini DV camera, little mini DV tapes like this. It takes these. I can grab the camera in a second maybe, but I can't even fucking see it because the lighting on this just that right there. Yeah, anyway. The cool thing about recording on tape is that because there's like an hour, you have like an hour on the tape to kill. You don't have to worry about like iPhone storage, as much as convenient as it is to record with the phones nowadays, unless you get a really ginormous cloud plan with Apple, which even then, the way people record and take videos and take pictures nowadays, like how much people record nowadays, that all adds up very quickly, especially if you're shooting in 4K and taking the resolution up a little bit. So what's great is that you have a whole 60 minutes to kill on on the camera, and all you have to worry about is the battery running out at that point. But because you have to fill up the time, I've realized what I shoot with it. I like to let the scene kind of breathe a little bit. The problem with shooting with the phone, and the problem with a lot of stuff being such, fast-paced, very quick form presentations nowadays, as far as just any content that we consume online, it's all very very fast. So it's interesting how when you record something with tape, you kind of have to let that 60 minutes get, you have to record something with it. So you want to like use that up is all. You want to use up as much tape, like especially if you have a ton of them to use. That obviously isn't the case for everybody, if you have limited resources. But what I mean is, like, you can really let things kind of you can let the film or the tape, you can let it just kind of ride out. You can let it slowly kind of, like, you can let whatever you're shooting, you can take your time with it, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. You can create that kind of slow burn effect of let it, like, finding some sort of anticipation in things. Suddenly, like, the way you shoot things feels, you're okay with focusing on something for a lot longer. You're okay with trying to find those small moments in whatever you're shooting. You want to find those small moments in the subject, and those little things that really stand out to you when you're editing and throwing something together. So the tape, like, having all that time to fill, really it lets you get into that stuff, which I've realized I love so much about recording things in general and documenting little moments in my life. Not only do I just love the very nature of that, but the art of it has grown on me, like the act of not only filmmaking but videography, the act of filming anything at this point. I'm just really I'm really into it, and this adds a whole other perspective of that for me. So yeah, this is really really cool shooting stuff with this, and I recommend anybody. The problem with this stuff, I'm really like here's the other. There are some downsides to this as far as like I'm very nervous to shoot anything, and I'm very nervous about what happens to any of this stuff because it's hard to find it nowadays, and it's hard to find stuff that not only works but it works well, has a battery that can actually hold the charge. The one I'm shooting this on right now, I don't have a charger for the batteries, and they're probably just not usable at this point. And so a lot of these cameras can be bound to the power supply, which is unfortunate. I just bought another mini DV camera today, camcorder, and I couldn't find the battery. I couldn't find a spare, so now I have to either basically leave it bound to the power cord, or figure out a way to either fix the one that I have, get a power source to it, and be able to make it mobile still. This is a whole thing that can get kind of not stressful with it, but it makes me nervous to shoot anything with it, because I'm like, if something happens to this, then that's it. I don't know if or when I'll ever be able to get a camera like this again. So it's very, all this stuff feels very fragile, and it almost makes me just want to have that respect for it even more. It makes me like want to be so specific in what I shoot with it. Maybe that's why I'm recording this now, because it just makes me want to use these things that much more if they are kind of almost antiques at this point. Not antiques, but they're very they basically are retro at this point. So any sort of old tech is just, it's limited. So yeah, these are some of the things that I've learned shooting with tape. I think it's really cool, and I recommend anyone get into it if you want the aesthetic. And like, I don't think filters really do it the way that the camcorders themselves can, because you can't really, just like anything else. I'm very much into retro gaming as well, so just like that stuff, there's something nice about the actual hardware, the original consoles, as opposed to emulators. They're just it's a vibe. It's really what I'm if I have to put it in layman's terms, it's a total vibe, bro. And yeah, I do fucking love it, and it's inspiring the shit out of me lately. I don't know why. I just feel very inspired to record with these a lot more, and I hope this video makes other people feel the same way. Enjoy shooting, friends.